Hey guys, today's video is a top 5 in fiction of magic users of all kinds. Warlocks, sorcerers, wizards, mages and witches are all in here, as well as others who favour the use of magic. If you're sitting comfortably, then we'll begin. Number 5. Gandalf from Middle-earth. Gandalf is one of the Five Astari, minor members of the minor godlike race, the Maiar, who became lesser and came to Middle-earth in the form of old men to combat the threat of the powerful Maiar Sauron. All of the Astari are powerful wizards, and Gandalf is no exception, especially after his fight with the Balrog, where he died and was resurrected by the true god of Middle-earth, Eru, or Ilúvatar. He goes up a rank in the Astari, becoming Gandalf the White, where he was Gandalf the Grey before, and being able to banish the other White Wizard of the Order, Saruman, who had previously been his superior. Number 4. Raistlin Magir, Dragonlance. Raistlin's the most powerful being on the world of Krynn. He may be physically weak, but he has a keen intellect and a very powerful grasp of magic. He's so skilled at magic that over the course of the books, he turns the tide of entire wars by himself, and during a time-travelling scheme, which results in an alternate timeline, is able to kill every other being on Krynn, including all of the gods, leaving him the only survivor. His poor health often left him relying on his twin brother Caramon, who was a far, far stronger man and a fair warrior. However, Raistlin persevered, becoming a mighty mage. During the arduous test of sorcery, he acquired golden skin that protected him from harm, but also afterwards was cursed with hourglass eyes that see the effects of time on all things. The ordeal left his poor health even worse. However, his magic more than makes up for his poor health, and he is still the most powerful force on Krynn. Number 3. Willow Rosenberg, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Willow is the nerdy, awesome best friend of Buffy, the titular vampire slayer of the show. During the first 2 or 3 seasons, Willow is pretty much just damsel in distress material for Buffy, waiting to happen. But from the 3rd series onwards, she becomes a powerful Wicca, discovering her massive potential for magic. Willow is capable of all-consuming power, particularly when, spoiler alert, her lover Tara dies, and Willow goes into a magical rage that involves her absorbing so much dark magic that turns her hair and eyes black and sort of makes her look really creepy, and she manages to torture and flay the killer with a thought. She also attempts to destroy the world at the time, and is only brought back to reality and redemption by her best friend. She's been on a redemptive streak ever since, and attempts to control her dark side while amplifying her light. Number 2. Granny Weatherwax from the Discworld. Esmeralda Weatherwax is the first among equals of the witches of the Discworld. Mostly undisputed, most of the other witches know better than to try. The witches don't use magic very much, instead favouring psychology, or as it's called on the Discworld, headology. However, Granny is one of the more skilled among them at their more magical means, such as borrowing, which is sharing the mind and body of an animal while your own body goes into a death-like trance, and time displacement, which can involve preventing a wound from catching a sword by moving the wound till later. In these, she is the most skilled. Along with her coven, she has managed to move an entire kingdom in time by about 20 years, and on her own she's managed to borrow the hive mind of bees, which no one else had ever been able to do before her. Number 1. Professor Albus Dumbledore, Harry Potter. Dumbledore is the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and the leader of the Order of the Phoenix, which is basically the front line against Voldemort and the Death Eaters, which is basically the forces of darkness and hate in the wizarding world. Dumbledore's got not just the magical power to back up his position, but he's also got skills, a knack for innovation. His examiner told Harry Potter 100 years later that she'd seen him do magic with a wand that she had never imagined. and as it turns out later, a wand to match. Honourable mentions: Jaina Proudmoore from Warcraft, Dr. Stephen Strange, Marvel. Magic users are very difficult to pick between, so these two powerful sorcerers that really could have been on the list were edged out by some others that were at least as good, so it was a difficult one. Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Marvel Universe, supposedly the most powerful, skilled, and benevolent mage in the entire universe. It may not always hold true, but hey, we all make mistakes. It's just that most people's don't involve releasing demons under mind control or allowing demons into your body to fight your battles for you. However, he has shown himself capable of beginning to redeem himself from his mistakes. Jaina Proudmoore, however, is a mage of both power and skill. She began as an apprentice to the Archmage Antonidas, but quickly struck out on her own path, joining with Prince Arthas of Lordaeron in fighting an undead plague. However, their paths diverged again when Arthas insisted on a path of ruthlessness against the undead rather than a path of righteousness, and he eventually became a member of the undead himself, a free-willed, evil member of the undead himself. She later took some people to start up a colony on the continent of Kalimdor, ending up founding Theramore Isle and beginning a lasting friendship with the Orcish war chief Thrall. However, as of recently, Theramore has been destroyed under the orders of Thrall's successor, the foolish and war-hungry war chief Garrosh. Jaina was the only survivor and was almost driven mad by the experience. However, she has since started to conquer her demons and taken up the role of head archmage of Dalaran. She's now haunted by the ghosts of Theramore and burdened with responsibility. Her magical prowess is such that she can summon and control water elementals and create blizzards at will. While enraged by the destruction of Theramore, she used a magical artifact to create a massive wave, which she attempted to use to destroy Orgrimmar, the home of the Horde. However, she was dissuaded. Only time will tell what will happen for Jaina. What are your thoughts on all these different magic users? Put them in the comments. Anyone I missed out? Anyway, see you next time. Bye. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. If you don't have any problems, you don't get any seeds. Norman Peele.